Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be ranking the NFL teams for this year, 2024, but doing it a little bit differently. Instead of just saying, this team's better than this team, we're going to do it by rankings of what they would be in the NFL theme park for 2024. So basically, the better the ride, the better the team. Let's jump into it. We're going to have three different categories here: gentle rides, thrill rides, and roller coasters. Now, gentle rides are a ride that, you're going to enjoy, you think they're good, but it's not going to be your favorite ride there. Those are the teams that probably aren't going to win it this year. Then you have thrill rides. These are rides that are fun and they have a chance to be the best one, but you really don't think it's going to beat out some of the other ones, but you are kind of excited for it. The next one is roller coasters. These are the rides that everyone is excited to watch, to be on. They're just ready for it. These are the ones I think have the best chance of winning the best ride or best team of the year. So the first team we're going to start off with here is the New England Patriots, and they are the merry-go-round, okay? Like the merry-go-round, it's a classic ride, but it's definitely not your favorite. You're not expecting much from New England this year, either. They're kind of like a question mark. In fact, Vegas has them to be as odds to be the worst team this year. So yeah, the carousel is probably going to be at the bottom here. So that's where we're going to start off. Next up, we have the Denver Broncos as the observation tower. Look, this ride, it can be scary to some people, it can kind of be entertaining because it's very high, but usually it's pretty slow, kind of boring. You're not really expecting too much of it, and that's kind of how Denver is this year. They're not expecting too much from them. They got a rookie quarterback. Their team's doing okay right now, talent-wise, but overall, you're just not expecting too much from them, especially in a very tough division with the Kansas City Chiefs being in there. Next up, you got the Carolina Panthers. Now, look, the Carolina Panthers are the bumper cars, right? Everyone enjoys the bumper cars, it still has, you always want to go ride this thing. It's going to be entertaining. You're going to pay attention, you're going to watch it, but you're not going to spend most of your day on it, okay? You'll probably do it once, twice, and then you'll be like, okay, I'm done with this. That's kind of how the Panthers are going to be. There's going to be a couple good games this year. I think hopefully Young comes back and proves that he's meant to be in this league. I just don't think they put the weapons around him. Unless like these bumper cars start going to like 50 miles per hour, I don't think this is going to be the best ride in the park. Next up, you have the Raiders as the haunted house. Look, and this kind of fits the Raider theming. It's kind of scary in there, but they have the worst quarterback situation going in this year. And I am so upset that they didn't walk away with someone at the draft. I don't understand how Atlanta took Penix, because I was really hoping he'd become a Raider, and I'd probably bump him up a little bit more here, but unfortunately they're just the haunted house right now. Their team is limited by their quarterback play, the most important position in football, and unless something changes between now and this video, I just think that they're just kind of like the haunted house. You're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna enjoy it, but it's got a ceiling, and that's the best you're gonna get. Next up, you got the Minnesota Vikings, and look, it's the Ferris wheel, okay? Everyone likes the Ferris wheel, right? I mean, it's good, it's entertaining. Just, that's what the Vikings are, they're entertaining. You want to watch Justin Jefferson, but you don't know how good they're going to be with the rookie quarterback. And we don't even know if McCarthy's starting, right? But even then, the Vikings, as always, they're going to be entertaining. They have a chance to be good. I just don't know. It seems like the Bears, the Lions, and the Packers are on the up, and Minnesota's kind of all the way down right now. And then we have the New York Giants, and they are the antique card ride. Look, the antique card ride is not bad. It can be kind of fun, but you're not expecting really much of it. It's just going to be okay. Probably going to be down there with like the merry-go-round with the Patriots. I don't really expect a lot from the Giants, though, really. I just don't. Then you have the New Orleans Saints as the sky ride that takes you across the park. That it's a fun ride. People like this ride. It's entertaining. I'm going to go on. I'm going to watch them. I think it's going to be fun. I just don't think that they have what it takes right now to be a championship team this year. Next up, we have the Tennessee Titans, and they are the train. It goes around the park. This is like a fun family ride. Not expecting a lot from the Tennessee Titans this year. I don't know if Will Levis is that guy, and I know that they went and got Ridley, who didn't play too well in Jacksonville. Hopefully they get him in the slot more, and Hopkins stays on the outside so he can do a little bit better. They got Tony Pollard too. They lost one of the greatest running backs of all time with Henry. So, and they got a whole new coaching regime, and I don't think people realize, like, Mike Vrabel was a very good coach, and it's gonna be tough. Overall, I think the Titans will be entertaining. I'm still gonna watch them. Like I said, they're still gonna be fun, but just I don't think they have it this year, especially with the Texans being as good as they are. The culture trying to improve as well. So it's in the Jaguars. I think it'll be a good team this year too. So I can't see them doing well in that division either. Next up, you have the Washington Commanders. That's the teacup ride. Okay, it's a ride that you might get on, you might enjoy a little bit. I am excited to watch them play. I will say I'm very excited to watch how their new quarterback goes. You got the Heisman winner here, and I mean, he's going to be fun to watch. I think, if anything, these guys could like kind of shock some people with their offense. So it'll be interesting to see here, but they're the teacup ride for right now. Next up, you have the Chargers as the go-karts. Look, we all love riding the go-karts, right? Go-karts are a fun ride. They're fun to do, but it's gonna be the best ride? It depends. Depends how big the track is, how fast the go-karts go. So, you know, they have some variables here, but right now, they lost basically all their offensive weapons. It's a completely redone offense for Herbert, and it's just gonna be tough to see on how they do it. And like I said earlier, that division's pretty tough. They're gonna have to beat out, you know, the other AFC teams for a wild card because they're not beating out the Chiefs, unfortunately. So it is interesting for them. But I will say, I'm gonna give them hope because maybe the go-karts go really fast. You know, maybe there's more entertainment to them than we think. So, but that's where the Chargers are right now for me. Then you have the Colts as the spinning ride, right? This is a fun ride. It's very entertaining. Sometimes when you were a kid, maybe you rode this as the #1 ride, and it could be the best ride in the park for you. But right now, I think it's limited because I think Anthony Richardson is the best part of the Colts. I think that they have, you know, Pittman's good. Jonathan Taylor's, you know, he's only 25, so he seems like he's old, but he's not. He's only 25, so he's pretty much still like in the prime of his career. So they could be good. They really could. But I just think it's kind of like the opposite of the Raiders. Like the Colts, Anthony Richardson, it could take him to like new heights. But the team, I think, limits him, holds him back. But the Raiders, it's quarterback's holding back a really good team. So it's kind of interesting to see that. But the Colts, you know, they could be good. We'll see. But I'm definitely excited for this one. The Chicago Bears are the mini roller coaster here. And the mini roller coaster is one that you want to get on. It's fun. You know, you don't expect it to be anything crazy because it's not like the big flying one. It's more like low to the ground, high speeds. But you're excited because there's a lot of great pieces there, right? They got the 2 phenomenal wide receivers now. You have the new prospect with Caleb Williams, and he's going to supposedly be this phenomenal talent. And you know, it's going to be fun to watch the Bears play because basically he's going into a great system, a great setup. He fell into a good team, fortunately for him. But is it going to be the best ride? Don't know. But sometimes these smaller roller coasters can really impress people. Next up, you get the Dallas Cowboys. You know that water ride that like takes you up and drops you down, real big splash. You know, kind of like Splash Mountain. You know, a lot of people like that ride, right? That's kind of where the Cowboys are. Unfortunately, the past years, you know, the Cowboys always kind of been that ride that like took you up the hill and like you get to the very top and right before you drop, it should just like take you back down and be like, sorry, maybe next year. I mean, that's kind of how I feel like Cowboy fans have been like feeling for the past like, I don't know, 15 years. It's always like, sorry, maybe next year. But overall, you know, they could be the best ride in the park. Water rides can be considered some of the best. So they could have a chance to win it, but I could see some limitations on them too. Next up, you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a good thrill ride, but unfortunately, I think it's kind of taking a step down. This is like that big swing ride, not the little one. The big one that really swings around. I mean, you're up there. I mean, you're hanging on by some chains, right? So this can be a very good ride. Unfortunately, I don't know if they're going to have the same success that they had last year. You know, Mike Evans having the phenomenal year he did was just amazing. This might be the year he finally drops off. You know, we could say that. You know, it's easy for me to say that, but you know, I just don't know if he's going to be able to repeat that. And I hope he can because Mike Evans has been so fun to watch over the years. I just don't know if Tampa Bay is going to be able to surprise everybody like they did last year, especially with having a tougher schedule this year compared to last year. So I think Tampa Bay could be good, and they could easily prove me wrong, but they're with the team I would think not make it back to the playoffs. Next up, you got the Seattle Seahawks, and this is that ride that spins around. You know, it can make you pretty dizzy. It's probably not going to be the best ride. In fact, I think they're kind of trending downward. I think that division is very, very, very tough, with the 49ers being good, the Rams. I think the Cardinals are on the up and up. I think they're going to keep going up, but overall, I just think that, you know, with them losing Pete Carroll, I just think that they're kind of on the downward trend. So I think they could be good. I could easily be wrong here, but I think we're going to stick with a thrill ride overall for them. Next up, you got the Miami Dolphins. They're a log flume ride, right? They're a good one. They're fun. It's flashy. You enjoy it, right? It's got a lot of theme to it. But is it the best ride? I don't know. That offense is just so fun to watch, though. They got 2 of the fastest running backs in the NFL. They got 2 of the fastest wide receivers in the NFL. Tua showed that he's a pretty good quarterback. You know, he's definitely had a transformation this year. So could they be one of the best teams? They easily could. They could. I mean, offensively, they look great. Let's see how they do on the defense. But they could easily win the AFC East this year. But we'll see what happens with them. But overall, you know, Miami is a good thrill ride, borderline roller coaster ride here. Next up, you got the Green Bay Packers. And the Green Bay Packers are basically the Whitewater Rapids ride, right? Like where you kind of are in that tube and you're going around, you're just spinning, you have no idea what's going to happen. That's kind of how I feel like the Packers are, just like their wide receivers. Like in fantasy football, like we have no idea who's going to be the primary alpha for that team because they just have 4 different starting wide receivers, essentially, basically. They're number one. But the ride, the theming, everything is just so much fun with them that everyone's going to want to watch this ride. Everyone's going to get on this ride because it's just going to be fun to watch. So that's why I got them in the thrill. I think that they could be a very, very good team. It's just, I just think they need a couple more pieces on the offense to really figure it out. I don't like them losing Aaron Jones. I thought Aaron Jones was completely underrated. I thought he was one of the best running backs for the past 10 years. He's been so good. He's probably one of the most underrated running backs out there. Then they got the LA Rams with the Raft Ride, right? It looks good. They got Matt Stafford. They have 2 phenomenal wide receivers. They have a good new running back that came out of nowhere. The defense is still going to be pretty good, but the offense overall, it's going to be entertaining to watch. Can they beat up the 49ers? They potentially can. But, it's still the 49ers division to lose. So we're going to see what happens with the Rams, though. Next up, you got the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals is like the safari ride, okay? The one that can take you by some animals, kind of like Animal Kingdom. It's a fun ride. It's very entertaining to do, and that's how I feel like the Arizona Cardinals are. I cannot wait to watch Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. and see what that connection is, and see if they can just blow it up and just be amazing down in Arizona. Because I don't think they're going to be as bad as they were last year. I think they're definitely going to improve. Hopefully they shock some people this year. But we'll see what happens with them. But I am interested for this ride. I think a lot of people are going to be getting on this. Then you got the New York Jets. Okay, and they're that spin ride that takes you up and you're like hanging on by just a couple pieces of metal or holding you in. And that's kind of how the Jets are. They're hanging on by a thread. And that's Aaron Rodgers' Achilles thread. It just seems like their entire season could just fall apart if he gets hurt. And that's why I have them as this ride. I don't know if they can win it all. They have a phenomenal defense, one of the best cornerbacks in the league. They have a great defensive line. Overall, just a good team. A phenomenal wide receiver, phenomenal running back. Just overall, I think they're a good team. I just think that you're limited. If that quarterback gets hurt, man, if one of these bolts gets loose, it's flying off. Okay, it's just not looking good. Next up, you got the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Philadelphia Eagles makes me think of like Drop Zone. Okay. I did not even put them as a roller coaster, okay? And that might upset some people. But Drop Zone is like one of those things where it takes you up real high and it drops you down. It's 250 feet in the air, 300, whatever. It's a scary ride. It's a fun ride. But that's the thing. The Eagles scare me. They scare me because they went on such a big losing streak last year where they started off so hot, undefeated, they just looked so good, and then everything just fell apart. Losing Jason Kelce kind of is a big deal. You're losing a Hall of Fame center, and when you don't have that center, that can hurt you. So overall, I think this team could be really good. I do think that they could end up, winning it. But at the same time, they scare me, just like this ride, because I would not do this ride at any park. Next up, you got the Cleveland Browns, and this is once again another mini roller coaster. Okay, you want to ride this ride. It's a great theme ride. It's just a great overall thing that you want to try and you want to watch. The only problem is Deshaun Watson that guy anymore? Because I don't know. It seems like it's limited by that. That's what hurts mini roller coasters. They're not that tall. You don't know where the ceiling's at for it. It's the same thing with Deshaun Watson. We have no idea what the ceiling is for him. That defense is great. The offensive weapons can be good. Chubb, we got to see how he recovers from his knee problems. I'm wishing him a speedy recovery because he's very entertaining for all of us. Obviously I want his health to be great too. But he's such a phenomenal running back when he's full health. And I think he can bounce back from it. Adrian Peterson didn't. Chubb's knees looked a little bit worse, but I'm hoping he comes back. I'm just very excited for him. But the Cleveland Browns right now is the mini roller coaster. Next up, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers, okay, now this one I will admit, all right, this one is more of this is a roller coaster because they already have this roller coaster in real life. Steelers is the only one that I know that have a ride called the Steel Curtain. So this is already a real thing. So, but for them, I will say, out of all my roller coasters, I would take them down. This would probably be more like a mini roller coaster. Phenomenal defense. But the thing with the Pittsburgh Steelers, I love their coach. They've always had a good team, okay? They have 2 quarterbacks right now. Is that always a good thing? Not really, but Justin Fields is a completely different quarterback from the way Russell Wilson is. And is Russell Wilson still good anymore? We don't know, but they got him for so cheap. They were able to build everything else around him. And that's what we look at for success in the NFL. If you can afford a cheap quarterback, if you can get that, you can spend money on everywhere else, and they have a good team. They're in a very, very, very tough division. But I do think that the Pittsburgh Steelers can be one of those teams that can shock people and still push to win. Because Mike Tomlin still has not had a losing season in the NFL yet, and I don't think it's going to start now. Not with this roster. If he was able to do it last year with Kenny Pickett, then he's going to be even better. Because Kenny Pickett was not a good quarterback last year. And I know Russell Wilson wasn't that much better, but Justin Fields definitely was. I cannot see the Pittsburgh Steelers not having another winning season again this year. Now we have the San Francisco 49ers, and these guys are the giant wooden roller coaster. You know, it's like one of the best rides every year. You want to watch it, you want to go on it. It's just a good overall ride. Can it be the best one in the park? It has potential to do that. But that's where I have them, one of the best wooden roller coasters in the park. Sometimes everybody's favorite. This has a really good chance. Hopefully, maybe they can pull it off finally. And then you got the Kansas City Chiefs, and this is the big roller coaster. This is the massive one that like some people are too afraid to go on. You know, it could be considered one of the best rides if they can keep everything together. I don't know what's going on with the wide receivers right now. I don't know if Rice is going to play this year. I don't know if he's going to get suspended. I don't know what's going on with that situation. You know, but as long as you have Patrick Mahomes, and Andy Reid, I don't see how they can't be one of the best rides in the park still. I really don't want to see a three-peat. That's because I think Bengals hopefully can take them down. Next up, get the Baltimore Ravens. And this ride, this is the theme roller coaster, okay? The one everyone really enjoys. It's very entertaining. And that's how the Ravens are. They got Lamar Jackson, one of the most entertaining quarterbacks to watch in the NFL right now. Great runner, great passer, has a great offensive weapon with Flowers, has a great running back now with Henry. I mean, he always had pretty decent running backs, but Henry's like, I think, technically the best he's had. As long as Henry still has it, I think he does. And their defense is good too. But very, very, very tough division. And I think this ride could be the best one. They potentially could win it all, but we'll have to see what happens. Next up, you got the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, this ride was under construction last year, okay? This one, you couldn't get on the ride, okay? But now it's open, and now it's better than ever. It's jungle themed. It's just a roller coaster that it looks like it could definitely win the best ride of the year. But they have Joe Burrow back healthy. They have one of the best wide receiver duos in the NFL with Chase and Higgins. I love that they picked up Burton. And I think Brown, the backup running back, is going to surprise some people this year for the Bengals. So overall, I just think that their whole team is just going to be very good. And just like this ride, I think it's going to be very impressive. Next up, you got the Buffalo Bills as a wooden roller coaster, theming with snow, you know, just the way Buffalo is. It's cold, it's tough up there, especially if they can get a home playoff game for them. It's definitely a tough place to win, especially when you have Josh Allen. I think it's a great quarterback to have. The only problem is, can he beat out some of these metal roller coasters? Because right now, Josh Allen lost Diggs. Diggs didn't really do too great at the end of last year, and the Bills were still winning. So, you know, losing Diggs, I don't think is going to hurt the Bills too much. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them, because they were like one of those teams that seemed like their window was massive. And it seems like maybe the window came a little bit closer to being closed, but I still think it's pretty open for them. Next up, you got the Detroit Lions. This is one of the newest roller coasters. Everyone's excited to watch it. Going for 2 points every single time. It's just an offense that's so fun to watch. You know, they have a phenomenal wide receiver. They have a great tight end, a good quarterback, good defense. One of the most entertaining coaches out there in the NFL. Can they be one of the best ones? And I think they can. I think they can. They got close last year to potentially get into the Super Bowl. They could potentially do it this year. Overall, I think a lot of people are excited for this ride. Next up, you got the Houston Texans. This ride was a shocker. No one knew about this ride. And it is a outer space ride. Theming Houston, you know, Houston, NASA, that's the connection to it. But it just looks overall like such a fun ride with Stroud. They have 3 phenomenal wide receivers with Tank, Nico Collins, and Diggs. It's just going to be a very entertaining offense to watch. And they got Joe Mixon, they signed from the Bengals. Overall, just the Houston Texans look like they're going to be a very good team this year. Next up, you got the Atlanta Falcons. Now, as roller coasters are, this is the one that's like suspended, right? And the suspended roller coasters, you know, you always have that in the back of your mind, like what happens if the thing breaks off? You're going to fly off, right? That's kind of how it is for them. Because same thing, kind of like with the Jets. Kirk Cousins, his Achilles heel, if that goes, Falcons are done, man. You saw what they couldn't do it last year without a quarterback. And I hate saying that because Desmond Ritter is from my alma mater. And he just couldn't get it done in Atlanta. And I think it was because, you know, the offense, well, the coach was just a terrible coach. He doesn't know how to use his weapons at all. You know, you have Bijan Robinson back here, and he's like, oh, Cordell Patterson, you go run the ball everywhere. It's like, oh my gosh, man, he was so frustrating to watch. But anyway, the Falcons, they could be good. Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. You know, if he can get it done, he has so many great weapons around him. Kyle Pitts still has not been unlocked yet, and we've all been waiting for him. The Kyle Pitts truthers have been like waiting, like this guy is going to be phenomenal, and he hasn't lived up to the potential yet. I think because he's limited by the terrible coaching and the offensive scheme that he had. The Falcons have a really good chance to be the best. It's all going to depend on Kirk Cousins. Next up, you got the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I know some people might be like, wait, this is a roller coaster? Look, Trevor Lawrence, Hopefully, they drafted a wide receiver for him. Hopefully, he's going to be much better than what Ridley was last year. Ridley had a lot of drops last year. He was not doing well in that X position. He's better in the slot, and he did have Kirk, who was good, but I think the Jacksonville Jaguars can still be a good team for next year. I think that they're going to be one of the best teams in the AFC South. They could be good. They have a chance to get to the playoffs. They really do. And they have a chance to going far in the playoffs. I think Trevor Lawrence, a lot of people try to dog him saying, oh, he's not that great of a quarterback. He's not that great of a quarterback. I think Trevor Lawrence is still a great quarterback. I can't think that he's not a good quarterback. In the Jacksonville Jaguars, right, it's an indoor roller coaster. So you don't have that feeling of being outside in the elements, but the overall ride looks like it's going to be very entertaining and fun to watch this year. But you guys, that's it for the video. Which one of these rides are you most excited for this year? And which one do you think I should have upgraded or downgraded? But if you guys like the video, hit the like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next huddle. Ready, break!